This was a tough guy. Boy, did he take tremendous punishment for coming back. I knew I wasn't going to be able to outpower him because my first time coming up to 200. So I knew I had to use the gifts I got there. Speed, power, movement, punch selection, and IQ. That's exactly what I did. Got all out. Was on his way to I just want to get a nice little beat now. Let's see how we're together.
God, I'm gonna get fucked up, baby. The best fight I've ever seen in my life. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm getting loaded.
What are your thoughts on the fight?
They call him the Mexican monster for a reason.
That was crazy. Were you expecting that?
I was expecting Zurdo to be able to go to 12 because Zurdo was never been stopped before. Or not that I remember him. I don't think he's been stopped before. But he's tough, But I mean, David's much stronger and cruiserweight than he was at 175 and 168. Like much stronger. You can see in his speed, he's not killing himself. You can tell.
Were you impressed that Ramirez came back after the fourth round when it looked like it was over?
Honestly, I mean, he's a warrior, bro. I mean, dude, the year he got hard. He kept trying.
I'm just very happy with this, and I just want to keep fighting against the best in the world and keep cementing my greatness. Everybody doubts me over and over and over and over again, but that's what I like. I like when people doubt me because then I get to come in here and show you guys what I'm really made of. So I just want to tell you thank you so much. I love every single one of you, and this is a blessing just to be here with you guys. So thank you so much. I feel that I'm really starting to come into my own. Everything I speak, I do. You know what I mean? I said I was going to beat David Morrell. I said I was going to beat Caleb Plant. I said I was going to beat Yard. I said I was going to beat Zurdo Ramirez. So I'm just getting, a lot of confidence in myself. And back then, I thought it was a dream that I could become a great. And now I know for sure that this is my destiny. And I'm just very, very happy that I'm able to have this type of performance in Cinco de Mayo in the United States. My last fight was in Saudi Arabia. I had a great performance out there too. And it's just, just a blessing to be able to follow it up with this type of performance in the United States on Cinco de Mayo.
Watching a former world champion, a man once seen as untouchable, being wheeled out of the T-Mobile Arena on a stretcher was a chilling sight. For Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, the flashing lights, the hushed crowd, and the overwhelming sense of shock painted a deeply unsettling picture. But what if the most disturbing part wasn't the knockout itself? What if the real story is that the fight had already been decided long before the opening bell, behind closed training camp doors and under the glare of Fight Week cameras? Because by then, the battle may have already been lost. The psychological surrender had already happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, big 6th round KO from David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. Cinco de Mayo weekend, definitely a great fight, but wow. David Benavidez knocks down Zurdo Ramirez in the 4th round, and then continuously, throwing crazy combinations. I mean, I'm talking about 6-piece combinations, real close range. Zurdo Ramirez came into the fight strong, came in there with his front foot. He came in there pressing the action, but David Benavidez's speed combinations was just way too much. Shout out to Zurdo Ramirez. Hell of a chin on him, man. I mean, I'm telling you, he took so many big shots. David Benavidez ended up closing his eye, and he really just couldn't take any more. But big shout outs to, Jaime Munguia as well, beating Resendiz for the WBA title. And now you have David Benavidez, a 3-division champion. I mean, what's next? We seen Canelo Alvarez in the building for Jaime Munguia, but was nowhere to be found on the main event. David Benavidez called him out, let everybody know, listening to fans, do you want this fight? He's calling out Monstro. The fans are calling out Monstro. It was definitely a great performance.
Just days before stepping into the ring with the most feared fighter in the sport, a stunning admission slipped out. In moments where fighters usually project total confidence and invincibility, Ramirez said something that shook the entire boxing world. During a routine media scrum, he revealed he might only have 1 or 2 fights left in him, a statement that instantly raised alarm bells across the industry.
And I know that you mentioned you are thinking of only fighting 2 more times. With that being said, what is your really dream matchup in the sport of boxing before you retire?
I don't know. Let's find out. But I have this Saturday, this coming fight Saturday, and then who knows?
Yeah. And lastly, what can fans expect Saturday night, and what do you really want your legacy to be when it's all said and done one day?
They have to expect a war. It will be a war this fight, and I will raise my hand with my belt for the winner.
What about the legacy?
My legacy, I already have legacy, and probably I will do more.
Completely. Well, thank you so much.
Even mentioning retirement while heading into a Cinco de Mayo showdown is a fatal mistake. You don't step into a war already dreaming about the peace that comes after. At the elite level, that mental edge isn't optional, it's survival. In this case, it was already gone. Instead of preparing for battle, he was quietly planning his exit, trying to fight while one foot was already out the door.
And it was the way that David Benavidez beat Gilberto Ramirez tonight. You know, Terrence versus Canelo, that was his own masterclass. Shakur versus Tio, you know, Inoue beat Nakatani, Usyk and Fury, all really good performances, don't get me wrong, but that's what the fuck I'm talking about. What David Benavidez just did to Gilberto Ramirez. I said in the breakdown after the weigh-in that yesterday, expect some James Toney-like stuff from David Benavidez. I didn't think he'd dispatch of him in 6 rounds. This was his best performance yet. I think the pacing he had in this fight was brilliant. Knowing he was up in weight, he didn't throw too many punches too early, and he relied on his defense a lot. Did some good James Toney-like defense, paced himself, found his jab, and then the hand speed ringside was absolutely insane. I mean, he's one of the fastest fighters in boxing of any weight class, but to have hand speed like that at 200 pounds, the dexterity on the punches, he hurts Zurdo by switching southpaw in the 4th round, hits him with a straight left hand, then follows it up with ridiculous combinations. I mean, electrifying stuff, you know, like Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya type fucking combinations, and eventually drops him with a right hand, hitting him with every punch in the book. The left hook in the inside was money, and just puts together some beautiful offense. He is one of the most offensively prolific fighters in the game.
The contrast between the two camps was impossible to ignore. While one fighter was preparing with ruthless focus, sharpening every weapon for battle, Ramirez seemed mentally elsewhere, already picturing a life beyond the ropes, far from the grind of training and sparring. At the highest level, even a slight shift in mindset can be fatal. The moment focus drifts, a world-class athlete can quickly become a vulnerable target.
And the fans like what they came to see. So, you know, there was a lot of talk this week about, is he really a real Mexican and all that stuff. Look, Julio Cesar Chavez was on the fence about it when I asked him back in Thursday after the press conference. I don't think he's on the fence now. He hugged David Benavidez in the ring right after the fight. So this kid has a chance, this man has a chance to be the best Mexican-American fighter since Oscar De La Hoya. He's that good. He has that kind of scintillating hand speed like Oscar had in combination punching. But Zurdo, he tried to give, and I said before the fight, Zurdo was accepting his role as a supporting actor, and that's exactly what he did in this fight. He tried to give David his own medicine in rounds 2 and 3 and had some success doing it. He gave David some of his own medicine. He pressured him, he pressed him as the bigger man, tried to take away some of his range, but unfortunately for him, David Benavidez is an excellent inside fighter. And whenever he wanted to, he would pick his spots with combinations. The short left hook couldn't miss. There was times, even on the inside, he would find the dexterity to hit him with a power jab. So, and people always talk about David squaring his feet up, but he makes it work for him in a way that's very creative and dynamic. And that's why he even went as far as switching southpaw a couple times. So then into the 6th round, Benavidez, after dropping him in the 4th, went back to pacing himself. I think this was the best he ever paced himself in a fight, better than David Morrell or Caleb Plant or any of those fights. And part of it was he had a much more stationary target in front of him. Guys like Vosdick, guys like Morrell, Yard, Plant, even Andrade, who he knocked out in the same amount of rounds. These guys all give him.
The reality inside the ropes was immediate and unforgiving. When the bell rang, David Benavidez wasn't just chasing a win, he began a calculated dismantling. His speed was overwhelming, his pressure suffocating, and the sheer volume of punches felt relentless. Relentless. 4-6 punishing rounds, this wasn't a competitive fight, it was a brutal unraveling. Every sharp combination from the Mexican monster seemed to drain whatever resolve Zurdo had left. It wasn't just the power, it was the constant pressure and punishing angles. Benz pinned him against the ropes, firing hooks and uppercuts with dangerous intent. There was no escape, no adjustment from the corner that could turn the tide. The longer it went on, the more inevitable the outcome felt. By the time the decisive blow landed in the 6th round, any illusion of a comeback had vanished. The former cruiserweight champion wasn't just defeated, he was completely broken.
I'm just very happy with this. I worked my ass off for this camp. I trained 5 months in training camp for this because I knew Zurdo Ramirez was a warrior, and I knew that he was not going to let go of his titles willingly. So, you know, I knew the risks. I knew what I was capable of. I went up there, I told everybody that I wanted to stop Zurdo Ramirez, and that's exactly what I did. And here I am, and I'm just very happy with this, and I just want to keep fighting against the best in the world and keep cementing my greatness. You know, everybody doubts me over and over and over and over again, but that's what I like. You know, I like when people doubt me because then I get to come in here and show you guys what I'm really made of. So I just want to tell you thank you so much. I love every single one of you, and this is a blessing just to be here with you guys. So thank you so much.
The chaos that erupted the moment the referee stopped the fight was difficult to watch. Within seconds, footage flooded social media, showing medical staff rushing into the ring. Any sense of post-fight celebration vanished instantly. The cameras captured a haunting stillness around his corner as medics worked with urgency. The roar of the crowd faded into a tense silence, replaced by a wave of unease as the brutal reality of combat sports played out in real time. The sight of Zurdo being secured onto a stretcher and rushed to the hospital shifted the entire mood in the arena. This was no longer about a historic win. It had become a deeply unsettling health emergency.
The gifts I got, thank you. Steam, power, movement, pole selection, and IQ. That's exactly what I did. Got going around. I just want to give you a nice little now. Let's see how you can go together.
Start moving back, moving back.
Fans watched in stunned silence as the harsh reality of the fight game unfolded before them. Losing a title is one thing, but it's something far more frightening when a fighter's body begins to break down under the relentless pressure of a younger, hungrier opponent.
Benavidez. David Benavidez is fucking special. David Benavidez is everything you want in a fighter. You talking speed, aggression, defense. And think about his defense, right? He's not moving around the ring. He stands right there in front of you. And he's willing to take a shot. He's gonna block some shot, but he's willing to take a shot. And he's gonna shoot his load every time. Combinations. Power. Just utter savagery. Oh my God. This guy is so special. Such a beautiful fighter to watch. It's like watching Picasso. The ring is this man's canvas. What he just did to Zurdo Ramirez was special. But if you watch Zurdo throughout his career, you knew what was going to happen. Like, if you really watched the two fighters, you knew what was going to happen. I never rated Zurdo that high. Respectable fighter. But I never thought he was that good. resume was a little inflated. You look at his resume, like, as far as top guys or names, like, who did he really fight? What does he really bring to the table? You watch Benavidez, you know, you see it. You see who he fought, you see what he does to fighters. I say that to say, if you watch these two, you knew what the outcome was. And it proved to be true. David fucking Benavidez. Take a bow, young man. Take a bow. God damn.
Hardcore boxing fans saw this bloodbath coming long before fight night. In forums and discussion threads leading up to the bout, the reaction was brutally honest. That pre-fight interview was dissected from every angle, and the warning signs were impossible to ignore. The message was clear: bet everything on Benavidez. Benavidez. Fans pointed out a harsh reality. The moment a fighter starts talking about the end of the road, the battle is already half lost. Mentioning life after boxing is often the clearest red flag. It's unsettling how thousands of strangers can read a fighter's mental state through a single screen. The internet didn't just predict a defeat, it foresaw a one-sided destruction, showing that the audience had a better grasp of the fighter's mindset than even his own corner.
Beautiful. It was, look, I mean, that's the way I called it, is the buzzsaw of Benavidez, punches and bunches. And the only shot that Zurdo had was kind of, throw a punch right in the center. So obviously the speed was too much. Benavidez was too much. The monster's here for a long time. So very proud of him. But the whole night from top to bottom was excellent. Probably one of the best cards we've ever put.
Absolutely. What do you think is next for Benavidez? What would you like to see? I thought we couldn't hear back here, but maybe he was talking about B-ball. Is that something that looks like is coming up next?
He's got many options. So I think right now he is the man at that weight class. So whoever's going to fight him has to wait in line, because there's several fighters like B-ball, like all the top guys, so including just all the world champions. But Benavidez right now is the man.
While one career came to a brutal halt, another rose to legendary heights. Benavidez emerged from the wreckage with the cruiserweight titles in hand, establishing himself as the sport's new fearsome force. Becoming a three-division world champion on a holiday weekend is the kind of moment that defines greatness. The Mexican monster didn't just win, he dismantled what remained of a fading champion's legacy. Claiming those belts on such a grand stage cemented his dominance, sending a clear message: anyone who steps into the ring with him must be ready to give everything. His opponent simply wasn't. The fight exposed a frightening gap between the two men that night. Putting him in the ring with a veteran already nearing the end of his career wasn't competition, it was sacrifice. Now the boxing world is left facing an uncomfortable reality. Promoters, analysts, and loyal fans are all sharing the same reaction across social media. Clips of those explosive combinations from rounds 3 to 6 are spreading fast, but it's the comments beneath them that reveal the truth. The praise is overshadowed by concern. When even rival promoters and the harshest critics are offering prayers instead of technical breakdowns, it's clear a line has been crossed. There's a rare, unanimous agreement. It's time to walk away. No one is calling for a comeback, and there's no appetite for a rematch. The verdict is harsh but undeniable. For the sake of his safety and long-term health, Ramirez should never return to the professional ring. The sport has already taken more from him than it ever should.
Yesterday, last time I checked, whoever has these dates is the motherfucking man. And that this was his audition to prove that he's actually the man. And I think he's actually the motherfucking man now. That kind of performance is going to be put on highlight reels for the mainstream sports fans, for casual fans. You know, fights like Inoue Nakatani and Shakur Tiafimo and other fights, they were excellent. I mean, those excellent performances, but it's not the kind of thing that's going to capture the imagination of the mainstream public. And what Benavidez did there will. And you know, the crowd was actually smaller than it was for the David Morrell fight, which surprised me, but I don't think that'll be the case moving forward. So yeah, man, I think that was one of the best performed. Crawford Spence in this fight, you know, shit, even believe it or not, like Broner DeMarco back in Atlantic City when I covered that fight 14 years ago was sensational. I'm leaving out a number of brilliant performances, but just off the top of my head, those are some of the ones that come to mind immediately in fights I've attended. Again, Zurdo's not the best cruiserweight in the world. Jai Opetaia is. Jai Opetaia is the toughest fight out there for David Benavidez. But I think it's smart for him to go back to light heavyweight right now. For a Jai Opetaia fight, he would have to grow into the weight class a little bit because Zurdo was clearly the bigger man. But I think that Benavidez is the better fighter than Jai Opetaia pound for pound.
Fighting without that inner fire is one of the most dangerous risks any athlete can take. When the mind gives up before the body, the outcome isn't shocking, it's inevitable. The knockout, the stretcher, the hospital trip, these aren't just moments, they're warnings to everyone in the sport. This goes beyond losing a title. It highlights the brutal physical and mental price boxing demands. Boxing isn't a game you can casually play. The moment you start questioning whether you're finished, the sport has a way of answering for you, and it rarely does so gently. Now we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Zurdo Ramirez's crushing defeat? And who should David Benavidez face next? Drop your opinions in the comments below. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming content. Share your thoughts with us, and we'll see you in the next one.